Hi everyone, my name is Sanket and I'm a co-founder for STEPS, a nonprofit addressing education accessibility from a unique lens. We began, as many ventures do, out of a personal experience that inspired us to think bigger. Back in high school, I volunteered with Tech Canal, a nonprofit addressing gaps in STEM education in Baltimore City. I was driven to inspire underserved youth about how awesome STEM is and motivate them for a future in STEM. However, I felt limited in my ability to do so because the equipment we had was outdated. The kids quickly lost enthusiasm, and unfortunately, Tech Canal did not have enough funds to buy new equipment. And that's when I learned that Tech Canal isn't alone. In fact, nearly all education nonprofits struggle to find the funding necessary to sustain student engagement. So we then started Brainstorming Solutions. What really bothered Azera and I the most were the drastic differences in education quality and resources between Howard County, which is where we're from, and Baltimore City. Just 10 miles separated so much opportunity. In Howard County, many of our peers were comfortably spending $5,000 to $10,000 on tutoring services. In Baltimore City, though, most students lacked reliable access to up-to-date technology. So we then wondered, what if there was a way we could channel the money from wealthier communities into the communities that need it, while improving education for all? And this was the inspiration for STEPS. At STEPS, we offer high-quality tutoring and college advising to paying customers. We rely on passionate volunteer tutors to minimize the cost of our operations. This then allows us to, through community partnerships, ensure that 100% of our profits go towards improving STEM accessibility in Baltimore cities and neighboring communities. At STEPS, we're translating the imbalanced education industry into a sustainable form of social impact. Now, Azera will show you our model in action.
Meet Rishi, a Howard County sophomore looking to improve his SAT score. At first, they tried the Princeton Review, where they had to pay $150 per hour for tutoring. Now, after spending over $1,000 on just tutoring, they were disappointed with the results and decided to try STEPS. After just 6 months with us, Rishi saw a score increase from 77th percentile to the 99th. Now the doors are open for Rishi to attend top universities across the nation. When talking to Rishi's father, he highlighted how STEPS was unique from other brand name companies because of our peer-to-peer tutoring style, where the tutors double as mentors, and our affordability does not sacrifice our quality. But our impact in this story doesn't just stop there. Because of our volunteer model, we were able to take the $500 that we made from Rishi's family, and as well as $2,000 from serving more families like Rishi's to support Tech Canal. This funding was used to purchase equipment such as drones, robotics kits, and new laptops, all of which reached over 100 underserved youth. And the pictures show it all. On the right is a student named Brandon, and the picture was taken shortly after a lesson teaching them how to get a drone off the ground using code. Now it's important because without the grant, Brandon's exposure to STEM would have been limited to just a computer screen. Because of this, we like to think of STEPS as a win-win-win-win situation. That's 4 wins. For our tutors, they develop valuable skills, while the students get the personalized support they need. Parents get to save money, and low-income students and nonprofits benefit from our grants. STEPS is bridging the gap between this education for-profit and nonprofit industries. And it works. In just a year and a half, we have worked with 36 clients, which has allowed us to raise over $17,000. This money is currently being distributed via our grant foundation, and this was made possible with the support of our 40 dedicated volunteer tutors. And this team is always constantly expanding. Along with recent and upcoming partnerships, as well as a demonstrated record of growth, we have ambitious goals for the near future. If all goes well, within the next 3 years, STEPS will have raised over $300,000. That means $300,000 towards improving access to resources for children like Brandon. And to raise this money, STEPS will also have helped raise nearly 500 families through our paid services directly, and have engaged nearly 500 passionate volunteers. STEPS will use the $5,000 grant in order to scale our marketing efforts, establish a tutor training program, develop a more robust curriculum, as well as any legal expenses. We can promise that the STEPS model will be able to transform this $5,000 into $40,000 worth of impact in just 1 year. We are excited to say that the Do Good Challenge is one of our next steps towards success. Thank you.
Great. Thank you guys so much for your fantastic submission. Really enjoyed watching the video, care deeply about the issue that you're seeking to solve, and the impact is clear and important. And so can you tell me more about your source of competitive edge? It's got to be extremely expensive to try to attract and train, right? Especially for the skills that you're looking to teach. So how are you guys thinking about competing, right? And how are you thinking about your ability to attract and retain really, really talented folks on the tutoring side?
The biggest edge that we have over everyone, and this was one of the biggest things that we pushed in our pitch too, was the whole personalization point. It is expensive to train someone to be a good tutor and to really to give them the skills they need in order to answer every question that a student might have, especially with test prep, because tests are so important. If we look at the SAT, the ACT, those are for most people a make or break test, where we have to do as well as we can on them to look as good as we can to get into top universities across the country.
All tutors, all volunteers do have to write an application, and then they're also interviewed, and then they go through the training process. So in and of itself, it's a filter to source the candidates that are not only the most qualified tutors, but are also the most committed volunteers. And then our backup plan, well, we've been doing this for 1.5 years, and we have not run into any issues in our sourcing. And that's why we're also, with the implementation of our training program, we hope to improve tutor retention past that 6 to 8 months. But our backup plan would be to stick more regionally and essentially identify a larger network of tutors. So expand our reach and have more reach so that we can find those tutors that are willing to do that. That comes with our recent onboarding of our new board of directors that have experience with the education nonprofit industry and also connections in our school. One of them is a school counselor. And so that'll help us develop partnerships with different school clubs and organizations at the high school level, as well as partnerships with like the PTA that'll allow us to source these tutors that are empathetic and willing to give back and are committed to the mission that we embody at STEPS.